The 2024 remake of Nosferatu is many things: haunting, provocative, and deeply unsettling. But above all, it's a bold reclamation of what vampires were always meant to be: raw, primal, and unapologetically grotesque. In a cinematic landscape that has seen vampires polished into sparkly, lovelorn heartthrobs, this version drags them back into the shadows where they belong. And it does so with a climactic scene that is as unforgettable as it is disturbing. The story is set in 1838 Germany and centers around Ellen and Thomas Hunter, a newlywed couple portrayed by Lily Rose Depp and Nicholas Hoult. Ellen, a dreamy and mysterious figure, harbors a secret wish she made as a child, a wish that unwittingly binds her to the dark and twisted Count Orlok, played by Bill Skarsgård. Skarsgård's Orlok is no sleek or seductive vampire. Instead, he is grotesque, his features distorted and animalistic, with prosthetics emphasizing his monstrous nature. From the moment he appears on screen, it's clear that this is no Edward Cullen. This is a predator, pure and simple. The plot begins with Thomas, an earnest and devoted husband, embarking on a business trip. Unbeknownst to him, this journey leads him straight into Orlok's lair. Orlok, drawn to Ellen through her childhood wish, sees Thomas as a mere obstacle. He imprisons him, draining his strength and leaving him weak but alive, just barely. Thomas manages to escape and return to Ellen, but the nightmare is far from over. Orlok sets sail for their town, bringing with him a ship filled with rats and death. Plague spreads rapidly, and the town descends into chaos. Ellen begins to realize the terrible truth: the only way to end the nightmare is to confront Orlok herself. This is where Eggers' storytelling truly shines. The build-up to the climactic scene is deliberate, almost agonizingly slow. Every frame is steeped in dread, every moment brimming with the weight of impending doom. By the time Ellen makes her fateful decision, the audience is on edge, desperate for resolution but dreading what it might cost. And then it happens. Ellen, with a calm determination that belies her fear, sets a plan in motion. She distracts her doting husband, ensuring he won't interfere, and calls to Orlok. The vampire, who has been imploring her to give herself to him, answers her summons. The scene that follows is nothing short of extraordinary, equal parts love scene and death scene. It is the culmination of everything Nosferatu has been building toward. Ellen lies back on her bed, her body rigid yet resigned. Orlok climbs atop her, his movements predatory yet strangely intimate. What unfolds is a disturbing blend of sensuality and violence. Eggers films it as if it were a love scene, with lingering close-ups, soft lighting, and a focus on the actor's expressions. Depp and Skarsgård commit fully to the moment, their performances raw and unflinching. There are labored breaths, moans of pleasure, or perhaps pain, and a physicality that borders on the obscene. Orlok drinks Ellen's blood with a ferocity that is both primal and horrifying, tearing a hole in her chest as the crimson flows freely. This is not a sanitized vampire feeding. It is carnal and savage, a grotesque act of consumption that leaves the viewer both repulsed and transfixed. And yet, there is an undeniable intimacy to it. The line between pleasure and pain, desire and destruction, blurs until it is impossible to distinguish one from the other. Orlok is not merely feeding, he is consuming Ellen in every sense of the word. Her body, her spirit, her very essence, all of it becomes his. But Ellen is not merely a victim in this exchange. She gives herself willingly, knowing full well what it will cost her. This act of sacrifice is her way of reclaiming agency in a situation where she has had none. She understands that her death will be the key to defeating Orlok, and she faces it with a quiet courage that is both heartbreaking and inspiring. The scene is a stark reminder of what vampires have always represented in folklore and fiction: the darker side of human desire. Vampires embody our most primal urges: the hunger, the lust, the insatiable need for more. In this Nosferatu, those themes are laid bare in all their messy, uncomfortable glory. This is a far cry from the polished vampires of the Twilight era. Edward Cullen and his ilk were too clean, too aloof. They sparkled in the sunlight, their danger neutered by their overwhelming prettiness. As the scene reaches its climax, the sun begins to rise. Orlok, so consumed by his need for Ellen, fails to notice the creeping light of dawn. It is a poetic end for a creature driven by insatiable hunger. The sunlight burns him alive, his body disintegrating into ash. Ellen's sacrifice is not in vain. She has saved her town, but at the ultimate cost. This ending is as tragic as it is satisfying. Orlok's death is not just the destruction of a monster, it is the annihilation of everything he represents. His primal urges, unchecked and all-consuming, lead to his downfall. In the end, desire consumes itself. Eggers' Nosferatu is more than just a remake. It is a statement, a reminder of what vampires have always been at their core. They are not meant to be polished or sanitized. They are meant to be terrifying, unsettling, and yes, a little bit disgusting. They are a reflection of our basest instincts, a mirror held up to our darkest desires. This film succeeds in reclaiming that legacy, delivering a story that is as haunting as it is thought-provoking. The climactic scene between Ellen and Orlok is the perfect embodiment of this. It is uncomfortable, visceral, and impossible to look away from. It stays with you long after the credits roll, a testament to Eggers' skill as a filmmaker and the enduring power of the V.